Welcome back to the Harris Room. Dive deep into personal growth and mindset and what it takes to be creative of who you are. Today's guest, a young entrepreneur on a mission, not just to build a clothing brand, but to shift the culture. His brand mindset is rooted in faith and focused on expanding the vision so you can step in your full potential. We're also joined here by another guest leading the industry in the podcast industry, also has a podcast of his own. We're going to plug that in a little bit later when we get to discussing. But today we're talking purpose, identity, manhood, leadership, and what it takes to really grow into the man God is calling you to be in a world that's consistently trying to distract you. So if you're a young man trying to find your voice, your vision, your values, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Mr. Harris, welcome in. Appreciate you for joining the podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know what I mean? What you do, your clothing brand mindset, and how you kind of structure your day-to-day operations with juggling not only faith but also the mentality to keep pushing through everything that you go through.
One, I want to say thank you for having me on the podcast.
No problem.
I'm not going to sit here and act like it's easy. I'm not going to sit here and act like I have it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a day-by-day, step-by-step, moment-by-moment type of thing. I just have to appreciate where God has placed me in the environments He put me in to learn the lessons that I needed to get me to where I am.
Okay.
Because I haven't always been mindset Mike. I haven't always been faith Mike. I haven't always been in the atmosphere that I am in now.
Okay.
So when you ask, how do I juggle it? God.
Okay.
That's my biggest, right now in life, I'm learning not to confide in myself.
Okay.
Not to get too into my head. Give it to God and continue to move forward.
Okay.
So, but to be a little bit more descriptive, I definitely write everything down. I always carry a notebook and my Bible. So whenever I get confused, I'm running to my Bible, but as soon as I'm out of my Bible, I'm in my notebook. It has to make sense.
Okay. With that being such a faith-oriented answer, right? How do you navigate being a young man in this world, being so faith-oriented? And what is if there was one message regarding faith, what would you say? What would you pass along to the other youth in this world that are struggling through the things that they are going through, and how they can use faith to find themselves within themselves?
He did. That's a very great question. It takes dedication, persistence, and really wanting it.
Okay.
You have to want it for yourself. You have to know that you're gonna have to die to yourself a lot.
Okay.
And people aren't really ready for that conversation, and they don't know what that looks like, so they really tend to run away from what it could be, not knowing that greatness is on the other side of that.
Okay.
I would tell a younger person, I'm 25, so I would tell my crowd of younger, treat your relationship with God how you want to treat your relationship with another human being.
Okay.
So how you text that girl every single night at 3 a.m., stop texting her. Go talk to God at 3 a.m.
Okay.
How you want to go pull up on whoever you want to go pull up on God. You just got to put Him first in literally every single thing that you do. And at first, I'm not going to sit here and lie like it's easy, because as a man being rooted in faith, I haven't always ran to God first. I am human at the end of the day, so sometimes I do crave a connection from another human being, but ultimately I'm fulfilled with the connection of God.
Okay.
So I would just say, stay focused and truly hone in on what you want to do, and make sure you keep God at the center of that.
Okay. We're going to throw a little curveball here. So we're going to start with Mr. AJ here. Tell us a little about yourself, what you do, and how you got into the content creation space.
Well, like you said, I'm AJ. I'm 25. I'll be 26 in October. Big game. Mainly I just create new ways to, make money.
Okay.
I just sit and think because I can't do the whole job scene anymore, so I'm just thinking what's the best course of action to build a side hustle, build a name for myself, and do the whole, combine everything.
Okay.
So, how I got to the content creation thing, I just did it.
Okay.
I just honestly did. I been told like my whole life, like, you're funny, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, I never really saw myself doing it. But then I'm like, I'm getting older. Why not just start trying new things? So
Okay. Now, before we get into you, Mr. Harris, AJ, with the creative mindset that you have, and with your clothing brand, with your podcast, I see you interviewing a lot of different people. So, what mindset started you that kind of separated yourself to get you on this journey? Like, was there a specific moment in time that you were like, all right, I'm starting this today, and this is the reason why?
Just thinking about how older I'm getting,
Okay.
and trying to explore new things.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, like I'm just really trying to figure out like what I want to do with my life because I'm halfway to 30.
Okay.
I'm almost 30 years old, and just thinking that and really being like, okay, you don't really have too much else going on, so like you might as well just venture out and do things and just figure out what's the best for you.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, we're gonna side. So that'll kind of lead into my next question for Mr. Harris here. So we're gonna go back to kind of habits and disciplines here, and what habits and disciplines have transformed your mindset to push you are where you are today. Right, you're very faith oriented. You said you journal. You said that you talk to God. What habits and disciplines have put you in that space to be where you need to be?
Exactly those things that you just mentioned. Journaling. And it's funny that you mentioned journaling because I want to say about 2 days ago, I found an old journal and I looked inside of it. And it made me do a little self-reflection because I tend to harp on myself a lot about like not being where I want to be and the situation not looking how I want it to look. And I read inside the journal and it was like, this is where I want to be in X amount of years. And I look up and I'm there. So I would say journaling for sure was something that was something that made me get disciplined. And just talking to myself and telling myself, what do I really want and what does it look like to get there? So I kind of compare myself to, I say this a lot. What did it look like for Jesus?
Okay.
Like, what did Jesus have to do when he wanted to get to where he was trying to get to? He didn't slack off. He didn't say, I felt like I'm going to do it tomorrow. Or he didn't say, this task right now is a little difficult, so I'm going to just unwind and wait a second to see what it looked like. It's like, okay, I like to modernize a lot of things. So if I'm in my room and I'm like, I should go for a run today, I'd be like, but it's a little hot. I'd be like, well, Jesus don't be like, it's a little hot, so I'm not going to go save those people. He'd be like, let me go get up and do what I got to do. So.
Okay. Question for AJ here. You recently did a soft launch of your clothing brand, and that creativity within your clothing brand can be seen through the actions that you take, right? So within the next 4 to 5 years, what aspirations do you have of where you want your clothing brand to be, and how does that clothing brand fit within your podcast style?
God. Okay, so like in the next 4 to 5 years, I aspire it to just be global.
Okay.
And just really touch my customers the way that I would like them to, but like in a way that I intended to. So the brand itself, the brand itself is just really, it promotes a message of not caring.
Okay.
Not really caring. Not just like you doing what you want to do and you love doing just that. So, yes, like in the next 4 to 5 years, I want it to be global. I want a storefront. I want people to just relate to the brand and just look forward to the next drop and things like that. I aspire to really just inspire people that's looking to come up with a clothing brand or anything, because it's not easy at all. Like I've had so many setbacks. I've tweaked the design, so like the reason why it's not even out yet is because I keep tweaking the design. Like I'm not even not joking at all. Like it's just not easy. But it's just me. That's just my perfectionist side.
Okay.
So yeah, like I really want it to just be not like a huge thing, because like I don't want it to seem like it's about money, because it's really not. Like I just really want people to see my creative side and just really fall in love with something that I put my name on.
Okay. So I'm going to challenge you here because perfection is the mastery of practice, right? So the more you practice, the more perfect it'll be, right? So the understanding of taking the values that you have and the creativities that you have, no matter what you put out, as long as it's authentic and it comes from who you are truly, it doesn't matter what the view is of the 95% because the 5% who love it the most are going to rock with it so heavy that it's going to carry your business, right? Because at the end of the day, that 5% will outweigh the 95% of negativity, right? So always remember that from a standpoint of nothing is ever perfect the first time, right? If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll miss when the door opens, right? So you just have to keep creating. You just have to be on your P's and Q's and always push, push, push. Always push designs, always push creativity, and continue to just put things out there because at the end of the day, you don't know what catches until it catches, right? If everything is behind closed doors, they'll never know what is really real and what is really authentic to you, right? Just continue to build that brand, push content, push the creativity side of your clothing brand, and you will catch fire through hard work and the creativity that you have. How do you juggle faith and being an entrepreneur? So the question kind of is structured around what role does faith play in your decision making as an entrepreneur?
Mm. Faith plays a huge part in me being an entrepreneur because there's actually, with the drop that I'm about to have, some of the most craziest things have happened within these past few weeks, and it's been a real struggle. Like it's been a mental battle for me to continue to want to do it, but it was like the feeling was nudging at my soul. Like God was talking to me, and He was like, "You got to do it. You got to do it." And its mindset wasn't even always a faith-based brand. It was at first. It was like, okay, I battle with things mentally, so let's go with mindset. So the name was always there, but the more I got into it, I got into my faith, and it was like, I know there's not a lot of people are really rooted and grounded in their faith, and it's such a great space. So faith and being an entrepreneur is so important to me because really being an entrepreneur is stepping out on a whim, not even knowing if this is going to be the thing for you. And not to say that faith is stepping out on a whim, but faith is believing something that you can't even see. Mm-hmm. So with being an entrepreneur, I can't even see the success. I just know and I believe that God has me. He's going to take me where He wants to place me.
Okay.
So just looking at faith and entrepreneurship, they really coincide with each other. They really work hand in hand, and they are the same thing. What you put in is what you get out in both of the scenarios that you have. So I feel like they're like, faith is the bigger brother, and entrepreneur is like the little brother trying to learn from him.
Okay.
Really just put myself in the shoes of Jesus and seeing what He would
Okay. For Mr. AJ here, how do you define creativity? Because I see your brand is structured around so much creativity. Like, what does creativity mean to you in the context of your brand? And when they see your product, like, what is the message that you want to be drawn out of it?
Okay. What does creativity mean to me in the context of the brand? Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like I'm just gonna stop saying that. I believe that creativity, when it comes to the brand, just really inspiration. Honestly, just drawing inspiration from any and everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that's really what the brand is. Because like honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, the brand is really centered around one specific movie that I loved when I was like a teenager. My mom put me on to. I'm like, oh, okay, because like, okay, I'm just give you a little backstory. So like one day, the name of the brand literally just popped in my head. Like I literally just woke up and I was like, oh crap, Breakfast Junkies. Like, that's kind of cool. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got the name. Give it a backstory. Ah, that movie. Okay. Well, in that movie, there was okay. I'll just say the movie. Forget it. Have you ever seen Set It Off?
I have not.
Oh, it sucks. Such a great movie. It stars Queen Latifah, Vivica A. Fox, Jada Pinkett Smith. They are 4 bank robbers, and they just they just come they just really down on their luck. Like everything terrible just keeps happening to them. They just decide like, okay, let's just rob a bank. And then at first they're like, we just gonna laugh it off. That's kind of crazy. But then they're like, forget it, let's just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say forget it, let's do it, that kind of just inspired me to be like, it's really people out there that just do things like that and don't really care about the consequences.
Okay.
So that's not specifically what I want people to take away from them when they think about the brand. I just want them to bask in their authenticness.
Okay.
I just want them to feel like they could just go out in the world and just not care about what people think, what people say, and just do, and they kind of get a thrill off of it. So that's the whole meaning behind Reckless Junkies. Like,
Okay.
you kind of get like a fix off of being reckless and being yourself.
Okay.
So that's where the whole creativity comes from. Now, kind of got off track with there. What you just said.
So that actually kind of answers both tails ends of the questions, right? Because you not only explained the story behind your brand, but you also looped in the message that you want everybody to have, right? Understanding, being authentic to yourself, and really finding yourself, and then getting that fix of, all right, this is my true self. How can I continue to expand that and send that mindset to other people around the world? And so we're actually going to switch over to another entrepreneur in the world, Mr. Harris here. And, you have your brand mindset. You did a soft launch as well on Instagram. And we'll plug all those in at the end of the video. But, and as you walked in, I kind of noticed your shirt, Psalms 23, verse 4. And that kind of sparked an interest in the question that I might have thought about earlier. And what is your favorite, it's a two-part question, right? What is your favorite Bible verse? And then what is your favorite Bible verse that kind of fits within the lifestyle that you live every single day?
The one that's on my shirt right now.
Okay.
Yet though I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, and your staff and your rod comfort me. Because it's just like, daily I do walk through the shadows in my mind. I do walk through being around people that may not be okay with my faith. I may walk around with people that may be scared to even ask me a question about being in my faith, or just how did I overcome the obstacles to get me where I am today. And sometimes I'm not perfect. I still sit in my apartment and I sit there and I'm like, maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not equipped enough. Maybe it's just not for me. But he didn't call those who are ready. He called those who he called. So I am walking through the shadow, but I know he got me, so I'm ready.
Okay. I like that answer. Another question for AJ here regarding your brand. What is one piece of advice you wish you had before starting your brand? Like, what is one thing that you wish you would have known, or one thing that you would like to know that you kind of find that you find yourself tugging at every single day?
One thing I wish I knew earlier, definitely the whole manufacturing and sample process.
Okay.
Because for me, like if you don't have like the exact measurements, the type of fabric and stuff that you want, you're just gonna go out on a whim and you're just gonna get back nothing but stuff that you don't want.
Okay.
like actually, I have too many samples in my house, and it's just like that was a complete waste of money. But right now, I'm getting it together. Honestly. Like I have faith in the next one, and I'm shooting for an official launch in the fall.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, sir. I'm gonna hold you to that. So this is gonna be a question for both of you, and I'm gonna have Mr. Harris answer first. So, what does the perfect team look like for you that reflects your vision and values, and how you're going to structure the kind of areas that you want to improve in, right? Whether that be content creation, whether that be mindset. What does your perfect team look like, and how are you going to build that perfect team?
We were talking about this yesterday.
We were. Great question.
We were just talking about this yesterday.
That's such a great question. I feel as if putting together a great team is putting together people that understand you and understand your vision, where you are and where you're trying to go, and ones that take it just as serious, if not more serious than you. Not people that'll just sit around and be like, yeah, I think that's good. I think you should do that. People that may tuck your chain, you may think it's a good idea, but they'll be like, I don't really know about that. You can do better, even when you feel as if that's your best. So I feel like when curating a good team, being honest with yourself and the people around you is something that's very detrimental to what you are building. And how I plan on building my team is to take the people that I have in mind and sit them down and tell them, guys, we can be rich in 5 years. We can be rich in 3 years. All we got to do is put together a well enough plan and stick to the plan and our move, and we can do this.
All right, now, AJ, this is kind of the same question for you. What is your perfect team structured around? What kind of values and mission statements are you bringing to the table when you discuss a meeting with your team?
Okay, so I want my team to basically, like, kind of like you said, like, we just have like-minded values. We have the same goal in mind, and, we just want to do stuff that we just want to take our lives seriously. We want to take it to the next level. So I just want all of my team to be, like I said, like-minded people, not so much like yes men, but like a little bit filled with people that don't really know me for real, that can have a balanced mindset. Like, I don't want to present an idea and everybody like, oh yeah, that's good. I just want people to be like, okay, yeah, that's good, and then some people like, let's tweak it a little bit. We just kind of, combine, like put our heads together and we just kind of go off of that.
Okay.
So core values, definitely. Core values. Honestly, like I'm trying so hard not to bite off of his answer because it's like I was just so good. I can't do it. I just do it up here. Yeah, that's the way it is.
Okay. That's some good core values to have, because at the end of the day, you're only strong as the team's mentality, right? Because if they don't challenge you and they don't push you to be great, you'll never get to an understanding of what you need to do to improve, right? Just like you said, you don't want yes men. You want people who are going to challenge the beliefs that you have and continue to push you and expand your knowledge not only within yourself but that other person, right? Because two people can't grow if one is holding them down. So that's a great answer. That's a great answer. And question for you, Mr. AJ. How do you define success as a content creator personally and professionally? Right? Like what is your view? Like, do you want, is it the brand? Is it the story? Is it the following? Like, what is your kind of success based off of as a content creator?
I'm a very simple person.
Okay.
I'm a very, very simple person. So I define success as being able to wake up with a free schedule.
Okay.
Honestly, not having to punch a clock, not having to schedule things around having to go to work and stuff like that.
Okay.
Also, just being able to achieve your goals within the set time frame that you have,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can have a sort of a sense of fulfillment. So, like, for example, like, with my brand, like, I want to drop in the fall, and then like maybe next 3 years, like I'll have maybe like a small storefront or something like that, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, like I'm just very simple. Like I just want to have enough money in my bank account to be cool, not having to worry about going to work, not having to worry about bills and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
Okay, I'm gonna actually circle back on that, because you just touched on a word that said you just touched on a word that many people struggle with the most, right? Fulfillment. So what does fulfillment look like to you in your own space, right? Not even content creation, not even your brand, not even your entrepreneurship. What does it mean for fulfillment for AJ?
Happiness.
Happiness? Okay. That's a very good answer.
Being able to wake up on the right side of the bed every single day.
Okay.
That's something, honestly, that I struggle with a lot.
Okay.
A lot. So I feel like once I'm saying that. I'm saying it. I don't care. I feel like once I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, once I start this, I'm going to be 100% fulfilled. No, that's not the mission. That's not the goal. But once I do start and I get enough buzz to where people give like enough feedback, whether it be positive or negative, I'll be cool.
Okay. Okay. This is a question for you, Mr. Harris. How do you think about your relationship with your audience, and do you see this as a community? Do you see this as fans or something else? Right, with the people's lives that you touch on a day-to-day basis, what is like what goes through your head to get them to not only see your values but understand your values in a way that can change their lives?
Uh, I never look at people that support me as fans. I never call them supporters. I call everybody family.
Okay.
When I have conversation or whenever someone comes to me for advice, I look at you as family. I could never say, oh, that fan or that supporter, because I tend to put people in my family when I'm speaking. So when I have conversation with people, if it's a female and she comes to advice, I look at her like she's my bigger or younger sister.
Okay.
Or if it's a guy, it's like you're my brother. I tend to treat which can be a good thing and a bad thing. I tend to treat every situation with the utmost care. So, yeah, it's hard to just not treat people as family. It's not really, the community is like, the people that I build with, I want them to get to know me on a personal level. So once I get to the status of wherever God has intended for me, it's not like I'm fake. You know the real me. You know me when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm mad, when I'm upset. And one thing I'm really learning and appreciating in this season is that I have a connection with everybody genuinely about something different, but it's a very genuine connection.
Okay.
Like everybody I have a conversation with is like, I can always come to you because you're so wise and you can always understand. And I can never have a fake conversation. So that's why I say it's more like a family, because when you come to me, you know you're going to get the real, you're not going to get what I just feel like you should hear them from.
Okay. Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Now we're going to switch back to you. Mr. AJ. You discussed earlier about you want your brand to be global and you want everybody to kind of feel the creativity behind it with the things that you have gone through, right? So give me a kind of like an insider blueprint of how you're going to market your brand that just isn't about clothing, right? Because it sounds like you want it to be a movement. So how do you plan on marketing that brand to get it exactly where it needs to be? Or do you have a plan in place, and have you thought about that?
He is cooking. Jesus. Good God. Okay. So I've thought about it, but not too much because like I don't like to plan too far ahead. Only because like I like to prepare for the worst.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I want to shoot a video, or oh crap, it's gonna rain. So it's like stuff like that. But like promotion wise, I do plan on doing the best that I can with like social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever a new drop comes in, or like I'm designing something, I'm obviously gonna tell people on not just my personal Instagram, but the official Instagram for the brand itself.
Time out. Plug the Instagrams in real quick. What's the personal Instagram? What's the business Instagram?
It's crazy. I just changed the personal Instagram name today. What is it? Goodness gracious. Sorry. Business Instagram though. The clothing brand Instagram is Reckless Junkies, all one word. And the personal Instagram is visionary.solo. So make sure y'all go tap in, go follow. But yeah, whenever I'm just designing a shirt or like a hoodie or something, I'm gonna obviously like for that I'm gonna put in my close friends first on my personal page just to see like how like if I don't have your number, obviously like I'm gonna you're gonna see it whoever's number I don't have, they're in my close friends. So like I'll post it there and get their opinion, and then they're like, oh, that's cool, or you should do this, do that. The third thing, I'm like, okay, I'll take that into consideration. Then if I change it, we'll go from there. But if not, then I'll post that mock-up on the business's Instagram and then go from there. And then whenever I get the sample in, I'm gonna be promoting it like, hey, just got the sample in, what do you guys think? This, that, and the third. And then if it's to my satisfaction and to enough people around me, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Then I'll go from there, like I said, and then just order the bulk and then go do the whole promotion thing. And while I'm waiting for the bulk to come in, I'm gonna plan the whole, like all the promo is planned out in my head.
Okay.
Like I haven't, it's not written, it's written down, it's typed up in my notes, but it's also in my head too. So as I'm waiting for the bulk, I'm definitely gonna shoot and then create a whole script and everything. Like it's planned out. Just waiting for the my personal approval.
Okay. This is for you, Mr. Harris. As you switch to the content creator space, as you start building a personal brand, how does being a creator change the way you see yourself and kind of change the way that you've kind of lived your everyday lifestyle?
I'd say I've always been a creator. I've maybe not been a creator to the magnitude of where I am now, but I've been doing this for a very long time since I've been young, so it hasn't really been anything that's changed. I'd say that it's just magnet. It's bigger now.
Okay.
I remember when, this is funny, I remember one day, this is when I first knew that I was a creative and an artist. I remember I was in my living room and my bus stop was up the street on the corner, and I was sketching the Tasmanian Devil. And this was the first time I ever started sketching in my life. And it actually started looking like what I seen on the computer. And I was like, oh, I can't leave. It's looking too good. And I hear the bus going up the street. And I'm like, do I miss school or do I continue sketching? Because I feel like right now, this is something. This could be something big. So I was like, well, I'm going to just take the whooping when my dad get home.
Okay.
So I get to sketching, and I finished it, and I looked, and I was like, wow, I think I'm an artist. And my dad come home, he like, so I got a call from your school. I was like, oh, that's funny. what they call you for? He said, you ain't go to school. I said, huh? He said, you ain't go to school. I said, I mean, I could show you why I didn't go to school. And he was like, all right, let's see. I showed him my drawing, and he was like, okay, maybe it's something here. And from that day forward, it was like, I've always attempted to be creative at whatever I did. Okay. So, always just putting my creative foot forward.
Okay. That kind of actually taps into my next question. And so, you talked about, the Tasmanian Devil and the bus stop, but what gets the creative juices flowing for you? Like, is there a specific space? Is there a specific routine? Like, what gets you in that right mindset to be the most creative?
I'll steal a little bit of the question. It's never the right mindset. It's just the situation. What I'm going through can fuel it. When I go outside and breathe the air, that can fuel it. If I go to the park and I hear the birds chirp the right way, that can fuel it. If I open my Bible and it's a verse in there that's like this. When I read, I picture everything. So it's like, how can I best get what's in my head out? So literally anything. Like being in this space right now, I came up with like 10 designs in my head. When I'm hanging out with AJ, he'll say something that's like, I'm designing in my head. So I'll have little sketches that's like, oh, I like that. I'm such a picture type of person to words that it's so easy for me to design. It's a gift from God, honestly, because I couldn't tell you how I begin to start the process. It's just someone or something catches my attention, and it's like, I know exactly what that could be.
And it's funny that you said, because that taps into kind of one of the biggest points that I come across, within my podcast of discipline versus motivation, right? And living every day knowing that discipline will always outwork motivation, because when you are disciplined, you are in a space where you always know you are always intentional, right? And you live life intentionally to understand, I'm going to expand my mindset today. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to be in a space rather than, oh, I feel motivated today. Let me go to the gym. Whereas if you set your structure up daily, you'll have better intention with everything you do, right? That goes into a book that Dan Martell wrote, Buy Back Your Time, where he talks about your success is a direct reflection of what your schedule looks like, right? So always make sure that you are setting time to not only view new places, but just to see new things, right? Search the internet, scour, because there are so many different avenues for you to find the knowledge that you have throughout the day that you'll continue to grow even in a space where you don't think that you're ready for it. So that's good. And that kind of wraps up everything that I was here for today. Thank you for joining us, Mr. AJ, Mr. Harris.
Yeah.
before we kind of close out, Mr. Harris, please tap in with mindset. What is the business Instagram? What is the personal Instagram?
The business Instagram is Mindset MXNDSTT, and the personal is mharris VOMHARRIS.VO.
All right, and then lastly, Mr. AJ here, could you please plug your podcast in and viewers, make sure you tap into it. Very good podcast, very good guest, very strong, conversations about mental health and everything that individuals may be going through. So just plug in your podcast and then give us a little 2-minute talk about the structure of your podcast and what you want your viewers to know about it.
All right. So my podcast is called Hear Me Out. The name of it really just came to me, honestly. I feel like I had a lot to say, which is pretty ironic because I don't really talk much. But I just felt like that was like the perfect title for it. So structure-wise for the podcast, really just kind of ties in with Reckless Junkies a little bit. Just being authentically myself, just really just saying like the first thing that comes to my mind, and not really caring what the feedback behind it would be. So it's really just been built on mental health. Stuff that's going on in my life, what I want to go on in my life, things that's just going on around me, things like that. And just, paving, just going down new avenues of things that I would like to, explore. It's like I didn't really think that I would actually do the podcast. Like it was always like a thought in the back of my mind, but I'm just kind of glad that I did do it because a lot of people have really said how much, like Nadia literally just came up to me the other day. She like wanted to fake fight me because I haven't posted anything in a while.
Okay.
So like that stuff to me is just like wow, like this really just makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I'm gonna keep it going.
Absolutely. And one thing that I always tell any type of content creator that I have within this space is whether that podcast has 14 views or 14 million views, you never know the life that you touch with each episode, right? Because each episode has a lasting impact in somebody's mind, right? So just remember that no matter what you do, no matter how you structure it, no matter what's going on, that podcast can change somebody's life in 30 seconds because of the words that you say. So remember, keep pushing, both of you. Stay rooted in your faith. Stay rooted, helping these men expand their mindsets through faith, through God orientation. And AJ, please remember, stay creative, stay getting after it. And viewers, I hope they will be tapped into the drop in the fall because the fall is coming soon. So please make sure you guys tap into the business Instagram, comment on it, make sure you hold him accountable as I hold you guys accountable and as you hold me accountable. Thanks for tapping in, guys.
Woo, thank you.
Yes, sir.